Welcome back to my kitchen, sweethearts. It's me, Margaret, right here in front of you again. Last week, our grilled cheese and 5 forgotten meals video got so many comments that I couldn't finish reading them in 3 days. First of all, thank you for every single one. But there was one comment, sweethearts, that cut through all the rest and landed straight in my heart. A viewer named Dolores from Idaho wrote, "Margaret, I watched your video last week and I tried the ramen with the egg. I hadn't sat down for dinner in 7 years. After my husband passed, I could never find the courage to sit at that table alone again. But after your words, I pulled out a bowl, a spoon, a napkin, and even with that empty chair across from me, I sat down at the table. I cried, Margaret, but I ate. You probably don't fully know what I felt, but this was a miracle for me. Thank you for that." Dolores, sweetheart, I cried too when I read your comment, because there are thousands of people just like you. People who have spent 7 years, 10 years, 15 years avoiding the table, eating standing up, snacking in front of the television, on the couch, using the kitchen only to make tea. Every one of you is a Dolores, and this channel belongs to each and every one of you. To get even closer to all of you, I've started a Telegram group and a WhatsApp group, Sweethearts. You'll find the links in the description. In there, you're meeting each other, sharing recipes, posting photos of your plates. When I shared Dolores's comment in the group, more than 20 people wrote back saying, "I'm going through the same thing." That's why we're here, sweethearts. Living alone doesn't have to mean feeling alone, at least not on this channel. While I was putting this video together, something crossed my mind. Last week, I shared 5 meals with you. Hundreds of people wrote in the comments saying, "Margaret, can we have more?" So I sat down, dug through my old notebooks, opened my mother's recipe box, thought back to my grandmother's Depression-era memories, and the list that came together left me amazed. 15 meals, sweethearts. Every one of them used to be made in every American kitchen. Today, almost nobody makes them. All of them cost less than $1. All of them take less than 5 minutes. And especially, all of them were practically made for people our age. Now pay attention. I'm going to move through all 15 quickly because our time is limited and I know you're tired of listening to long drawn-out recipes, so I'll do my best to be as detailed and as fast as I can, sweethearts. But don't worry, at the end of the video, I'm going to pull 3 of them aside and tell you about them in depth, because those 3 are the ones I still make every week for 7 years straight. And when you hear why I make them, some of you will laugh, some of you will cry, but all of you will say, "I had no idea a sandwich could carry a story like that." Stay until the very end, sweethearts, because those 3 meals are the true heart of this video. Before we get to the recipes, I have to ask you, sweethearts, are your joints stiff in the mornings? Has your appetite been fading? Did the doctor prescribe you a protein supplement and you can't get the taste of it past your throat? Is your memory as sharp as it used to be, or are words getting stuck on the tip of your tongue? Do your feet get cold at night? If any of that sounds familiar, listen to this entire list to the end, sweethearts, because hidden inside these simple meals is half of what your doctor writes on that prescription for free. Whatever health issues you're dealing with, write them in the comments. Let's support each other. Let's get started, sweethearts. 15 meals, 15 stories, 15 reminders, all for you. Our first meal is going to be cottage cheese with canned peaches. Cottage cheese and canned peaches. The women of my mother's generation called this a salad, sweethearts. But it wasn't a salad. A scoop of cottage cheese goes onto a plate. And next to it, you open and drain a 79-cent can of peaches and pour them on. That's it. No prep, no cooking, no standing. Half a cup of cottage cheese gives you 14 grams of protein, sweethearts. The peaches add sweetness and vitamin C. Hospital cafeterias served this exact combination to patients recovering from surgery in the 1960s and 1970s because it was perfect for people who didn't want to chew or couldn't. For those of you with dental problems, for those of you with jaw fatigue, or for those evenings when you just say, I don't want to cook today, but I need to eat something. This is ideal. Weight Watchers put it on their approved list in 1963, and an entire generation of American women never stopped eating it. Our second meal is going to be a cheese quesadilla, 1 flour tortilla, a handful of shredded cheese, a dry pan. You fold the tortilla in half, put the cheese inside, drop it in the pan, flip it once. 2 minutes. Total cost, 40 cents. The cheese melts, holds the tortilla together from the inside, and the edges crisp up in the dry heat. Mexican-American families used to make this for their kids as an after-school snack, sweethearts, but seniors adopted it as a full dinner. Because it was fast, it could be made with one hand, and it didn't even require a fork. There was a retired school bus driver in San Antonio who told his daughter, I eat quesadillas 4 nights a week. His daughter asked, What do you eat the other 3 nights, Dad? The answer, crackers. That's exactly why I put this meal on the list, sweethearts. A quesadilla at least has cheese in it. It gives you protein. It gives you calcium. 1,000 times better than making dinner out of crackers. For our third meal, I want it to be canned chili over crackers. Canned chili poured over crackers. A can of Hormel chili is $1.79. A sleeve of saltine crackers is $1.29 and lasts a month. You open the can, heat it in the microwave for 90 seconds. Crumble crackers on top with your hands. Dinner is ready. 1 can of chili gives you 15 grams of protein, sweethearts. The crackers add bulk, add crunch, and make the portion look bigger than it is. Truckers in Oklahoma and Texas used to eat this combination for $2.99 at roadside diners in the 1980s. After they retired, they kept making the same thing at home because the taste was the same, the price was right, and it kept the memory alive. For people our age, here's the most important detail, sweethearts. The only tool you need is a microwave. No stove, no flame, no standing. You can make this sitting in a kitchen chair. Fourth meal, tuna salad on bread, a tuna sandwich. 1 can of tuna is $1.79, a spoonful of mayonnaise, a pinch of salt, a squeeze of lemon if you have it. Mash it with a fork, spread it on bread, eat. 2 minutes, sweethearts, at most. Church food pantries across the Midwest used to pack tuna, mayonnaise packets, and bread together in bags because they knew this was the meal seniors would actually make. Not the dried pasta, not the canned vegetables, because those required a pot, a stove, and energy that some people just didn't have. The tuna sandwich. A 74-year-old widow in Wichita, Kansas, told a food bank volunteer, I eat tuna on bread 5 nights a week. The volunteer asked, Would you like something different? The woman said no. The tuna is easy, the bread is soft, and I can eat it watching the evening news without getting up. That was enough for her, sweethearts. And it's enough for us, too. Tuna gives you omega-3s, good for your heart, good for your memory, and you won't find a cheaper source of protein anywhere in this country. For our fifth meal, I especially want it to be toast with baked beans, toast topped with canned baked beans. In Britain, this is a national institution, sweethearts. It's eaten as dinner and nobody bats an eye. In America, it's the meal nobody admits to eating. A can of baked beans is $1.19. 2 slices of bread cost pennies. You heat the beans, pour them over the toast, and eat. The beans give you fiber, protein, iron, and enough substance to count as a full dinner. At our age, fiber is a natural defense against constipation, sweethearts, and this meal alone takes care of that problem. British retirees eat this 3 or 4 times a week without a trace of shame. American seniors eat it just as often, but hide it by calling it a snack. At our age, there's no such thing as a food you should be embarrassed about, sweethearts. If you're feeding yourself, That's a victory. Beans on toast is a victory. For my sixth recipe, I've chosen pimento cheese on bread, a pimento cheese sandwich. In the American South, they called this the caviar of the poor, sweethearts. A tub of store-bought pimento cheese is $3.49 and lasts a week's worth of sandwiches. You spread it on white bread and eat. No heating, no prep, no skill required. The creaminess of the cheese and the sweetness of the pimentos make it taste far richer than it is. Every spring in Augusta, Georgia, they hold a pimento cheese festival, sweethearts. Funeral homes across the Carolinas serve pimento cheese sandwiches after every service. This food is woven into the fabric of Southern life from birth to death. The recipe first appeared in Good Housekeeping magazine in 1908, sweethearts, and it spread through every town in the South the way most recipes did back then. Neighbor to neighbor, church to church, family reunion to family reunion. If you had a Southern grandmother, this sandwich always sat in a jar in her kitchen. Now you're opening that jar again. For our seventh meal, I'd recommend a Bologna and cheese sandwich. 2 slices of white bread, a slice of Bologna, a slice of American cheese, a dab of mustard. This was the lunch that built working-class America, sweethearts. And then it retired right alongside the workers. A package of Oscar Mayer Bologna costs $2.49 and gives you enough slices for 8 sandwiches. That's 31 cents per sandwich, sweethearts, before the bread and cheese. Factory workers in Detroit, Cleveland, and Gary ate this every single day for 30 years, then kept eating it in retirement because the taste was wired into them. It was neurological, sweethearts, not nostalgia. The flavor of cold bologna on soft bread meeting yellow mustard is something no restaurant meal could ever replace. And the best part for people our age, this sandwich takes less than 5 minutes, requires no heat, produces no dishes beyond a plate, and tastes exactly the same every single time. That predictability wasn't boring, sweethearts. It was safety. I've said this in previous videos, and I'm repeating it because it matters. In a world where everything is changing, the Bologna sandwich stays right where you left it. Our 8th meal is going to be a bean and cheese burrito. 1 flour tortilla, a scoop of canned refried beans, a handful of shredded cheese. You spread the beans on the tortilla, add the cheese, roll it up, microwave it for 45 seconds. Done. A can of refried beans is $1.19. A package of tortillas is $2.49. And with cheese, the whole setup is under $8 and lasts a week of dinners, sweethearts. Mexican-American families in El Paso, San Antonio, and Los Angeles fed their children on this meal for generations. Now those children have grown old, and they're still making the same meal the same way. This isn't just a temporary recipe, sweethearts. It's the taste of a kitchen that no longer exists, the taste of hands that no longer cook, the taste of a voice that used to call you to the table. 1 burrito contains about 15 grams of protein, 8 grams of fiber, and enough carbohydrates to keep you going for hours. Especially if you're past 60, these numbers are no joke, sweethearts. They're truly important. For our 9th meal, I'd like it to be cornbread in buttermilk, or as we might also call it, cornbread crumbled in buttermilk. This meal surprises the people who've never heard of it and brings peace to the ones who have, sweethearts. You take a piece of leftover cornbread from the day before, crumble it into a glass of cold buttermilk, and eat it with a spoon. That's it. No cooking, no heating, no plate required. In Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky, this was dinner on hot summer evenings when the kitchen was too warm to fire up the stove. A box of cornmeal is $1.49, a quart of buttermilk is $1.99, and together they give you a week's worth of cornbread and buttermilk suppers. Appalachian families were eating this before the Civil War, sweethearts. Nobody ever wrote the recipe down because everybody already knew it. Like breathing, like walking. A retired coal miner in Harlan County, Kentucky, ate cornbread and buttermilk every evening of his retirement. He said, "It tastes exactly the way my mother's kitchen smelled in 1952. Sometimes a meal does so much more than feed the body, sweethearts. It keeps a memory alive. And at our age, that's the most valuable thing there is. As we get closer to the end of our list, the recipes only get more delicious. Here's our 10th, rice and butter with soy sauce. Rice with butter and soy sauce. A bag of white rice is $2.99 and lasts a single person a month. You cook a cup of rice, drop a pat of butter on top, and pour a splash of soy sauce over the whole thing. 3 ingredients, 5 minutes if you use instant rice. The butter melts into the grains, sweethearts. The soy sauce adds salt and depth, and that thing called umami pulls you back for another spoonful. Japanese-American families in California ate this as a side dish, but for a senior on a fixed income, it was the main course. There was a retired janitor in Sacramento who ate this most weeknights through the 1990s. He told his grandson, "My mother made the same meal in 1943 at the Tule Lake internment camp because butter and soy sauce were the only seasonings the camp kitchen had." The recipe carried forward not because it was good, sweethearts, but because it meant something. That's how recipes survive. Not for the body, but for the memory. Another wonderful recipe. Our 11th meal is going to be canned salmon on toast. A can of pink salmon is $2.79, sweethearts. You open it, mash it with a fork, spread it on toast, and eat. Done. Do not throw away those soft little bones inside the can, sweethearts. Please don't throw them away. Scientists have proven they're packed with calcium. It's exactly what doctors recommend for seniors worried about bone density. Fishing communities across the Pacific Northwest ate this for decades without thinking twice. In Astoria, Oregon, cannery workers used to bring home dented cans that couldn't be sold and feed their families on salmon toast. There was a retired cannery worker who ate this until she was 96 years old, sweethearts. She said, "The fish tasted the same in 2019 as it did in 1961. At our age, as the world keeps shrinking around us, that consistency is like an anchor, sweethearts. Something that doesn't change, something that stays right where you left it. That's a great gift." 12th meal. Hot dogs sliced in beans, sliced hot dogs in baked beans. A can of pork and beans is $1.19. A package of hot dogs is $2.49 and lasts a week, sweethearts. You slice 2 hot dogs, heat them up with the beans in a pot or the microwave for 3 minutes, and eat straight from the bowl. Clara's family used to make this during the Depression, sweethearts. The same combination shows up in old cookbooks with no name attached. Millions of Americans who grew up eating this never once realized it was a poor man's meal. The hot dogs give you protein, the beans give you fiber and bulk. When these two come together on the plate, they fill both the stomach and the heart, sweethearts, both physically and emotionally, and for less than $1. There you have it, 12 meals, sweethearts. I moved through them quickly because there are still 3 more, and I saved them for last for a reason. All 12 of these meals cost under $1. All of them take less than 5 minutes. All of them use 1 plate or 1 pot, and all of them are quiet heroes for people our age. But now it's time for the real stories, sweethearts. These last 3 meals, I'm not going to rush through them, because those 3 are the ones I still make every week, for 7 years straight. Each one has a person behind it, a memory behind it, a reason behind it. And when you hear those reasons, you'll understand why Margaret started this channel, why she made this list all the way to the end, and why she's going to ask you to make one of these 3 meals this week. But before you hear about the 3 favorites I saved for last, which of the 12 recipes I just listed did you already know? Do you have any memories or tips about any of them? Share them in the comments below this video. Don't forget why this community was created. We're all here for each other. So pour out everything that's inside you in the comments, and I promise you'll see that you're not alone. A recipe we've been making for years, our 13th meal, and the one I put first on my personal list, sweethearts. Peanut butter and banana sandwich. 2 slices of bread, a spoonful of peanut butter, half a banana sliced on top, and the second slice of bread on top. And that's all there is to it. Enjoy. A jar of peanut butter is $2.50, sweethearts, and lasts a single person 2 weeks. A bunch of bananas is 65 cents. This sandwich gives you 15 grams of protein, potassium, and enough calories to carry you through an entire evening. Let me tell you why I put this sandwich near the top of the list. Because there's a man behind this sandwich, sweethearts. His name was Harold Meeks. You've never heard the name, but for me, it's become unforgettable. He was a retired carpenter in Paducah, Kentucky. His daughter told the story. Her father ate a peanut butter and banana sandwich every evening at 5:30 for the last 4 years of his life. Every evening, same time, same sandwich. His daughter used to go crazy over the routine. "Dad, why don't you switch it up?" she'd ask. Harold never answered. But after Harold passed, his doctor told the daughter, "Your father's potassium levels were perfect, most likely because of something he'd been repeating for a long time." As you can guess, the sandwich was exactly what came to the daughter's mind, too. The USDA published a report in 2023, sweethearts, the single most consumed protein source among Americans over 75 who live alone is peanut butter. Not chicken, not eggs, peanut butter. The reason isn't taste, sweethearts. The reason is ease. You open the jar, spread it on bread, sit down, and eat. No thinking, no planning, no trip to the store. Let me tell you why I make this sandwich every week, sweethearts. Because Harold is also my husband's name, the same name. And when my Harold got sick, every morning he'd ask me, "Margaret, is there a banana?" I'd slice the banana, bring it to him with peanut butter. After the hospital days, when we came back home, the same sandwich. Now, every Monday evening, I make this sandwich for myself, sweethearts, not for Harold, for myself. Because this sandwich reminds me of the days he was getting better. It reminds me that everything passes, and what passes isn't the pain, it's the love. Can a sandwich do that, you ask? Yes, it can, sweethearts. And if you make it once a week, it can do the same for you. At our age, potassium is very important, sweethearts. Do your feet cramp up at night? Do leg cramps wake you from your sleep? Has your doctor prescribed you potassium pills? A banana is 65 cents, sweethearts, and it's a wonderful natural support for your potassium needs. Peanut butter gives you protein, protects against muscle loss, supports your bones. People who eat this sandwich 3 or 4 times a week experience far fewer muscle cramps. My neighbor Betty told me that. I tried it myself, and it turned out to be true. Write in the comments, sweethearts, do your feet cramp at night? What has your doctor said about potassium? Let's support each other, because nobody talks about this, but everyone is living it. 14th meal, cereal for dinner, a bowl of cereal for your evening meal. When I say this, some of you are going to feel embarrassed, sweethearts. I know. Because this is the truth nobody in America says out loud. A box of store-brand cereal is $2.49. A gallon of milk is $3.59. And it's enough, sweethearts. You pour it into a bowl, add the milk, sit down, 1 minute, no cooking, no heating. The only dishes you use are a bowl and a spoon. Now, let me tell you a truth, sweethearts. And I want this truth to bring you comfort. Social workers published a study in 2021 reporting that more than half of the seniors they visited ate cereal as their evening meal. More than half, sweethearts. Not half, more than half. The dairy industry spent decades convincing Americans that cereal is a breakfast food. But in homes where energy is low and appetite is even lower, cereal is whatever meal you need it to be, sweethearts. In the morning, it's breakfast. At noon, it's a snack. In the evening, it's dinner. There are no meal rules. Let me tell you why I make this every week. Because Thursday evenings are the longest evenings for me, sweethearts. Not Sunday, Thursday. Sunday comes with anticipation, but Thursday evening is just the feeling of 2 more days until the weekend. And on that evening, I can't find the motivation or the energy to cook. On Thursday evenings, I eat cereal, sweethearts. I slice half a banana on top, sprinkle a little cinnamon, add a drizzle of honey, and I sit with a bowl and eat. And I'm not the least bit embarrassed, because Dr. Patel has told me again and again, Margaret, the difference between not eating and eating something simple changes everything for your body. If you're worried about blood sugar, sweethearts, please choose sugar-free cereals, not frosted flakes. Get plain corn flakes or wheat flakes, because those colorful boxes can sometimes cause serious health problems for diabetics like Frank. If milk upsets your stomach, you can try almond milk or oat milk. A little more expensive, but easier on digestion. At our age, small adjustments bring big relief, sweethearts. If you have a box of cereal in your house right now and you're going to eat it for dinner tonight, write, I'm making it too, in the comments, sweethearts, because I want you to know you are not alone. Thousands of people are going to do the same thing tonight, and we can say, enjoy your meal to each other. 15th and final meal, sweethearts, the end of the list, but maybe the deepest one of all. Banana and peanut butter on crackers. Peanut butter and banana on crackers. A banana, a jar of peanut butter, a sleeve of crackers. You spread peanut butter on a cracker, press a slice of banana into it, and eat. No cooking, no standing. You can make this sitting in your recliner, sweethearts, with a plate balanced on your lap. A banana is about 25 cents. And the peanut butter and crackers last for days. A combination like a sandwich. It gives you protein, potassium, carbohydrates, and enough substance to call it a meal. This is the meal that affected me the most, sweethearts, and I'm about to tell you why. Occupational therapists who work in people's homes say this in their reports. At our age, the vast majority of seniors eat in their recliner. The kitchen is too far. The chairs are too hard, and the walk is too tiring. This meal comes to seniors where they already are, sweethearts. It doesn't try to drag them to the kitchen. It joins them in their chair. Now, does hearing this make me happy or sad? Both, really. Because I want you, sweethearts, to sit at the table whenever you can. Set a place, fold a napkin, show yourself that you matter. But I know that some days you don't have the strength to do that. Some days, just bending your knee to get out of the recliner is a battle. This meal exists for those days, sweethearts. This meal doesn't judge you. This meal just says, I'm right here, eat me. And sometimes that's exactly what you need. If you're struggling with mobility right now, if your legs have trouble carrying you, if the kitchen feels as far away as the other side of the world, write it in the comments, sweethearts. Nobody is judging, only people who see you. And this meal is a gift given to you. Accept it without shame. There you have it, sweethearts. 15 meals, all of them under $1, all of them under 5 minutes, all of them a bridge for people our age. But those last 3, peanut butter and banana sandwich, cereal for dinner, and crackers with peanut butter and banana, those are the ones I still make every week. Each one has a memory behind it, a person behind it, a reason behind it. Now I'm challenging you, sweethearts. Make one of these 15 meals this week. Write in the comments which one you chose. If you pick one of Margaret's 3 favorites, put a heart next to your comment. I would love to read which meal you chose, sweethearts. Take a picture, send it to our Telegram or WhatsApp group. Write, I made it too. Last week, Dolores sat down at the table for the first time in 7 years. Maybe this week it's your turn. Maybe it's your first sandwich. Maybe it's your first time at the table in years. Maybe it's the first time you fold a napkin for yourself. If you'd like to meet each other, join our Telegram and WhatsApp groups, sweethearts. You'll find the links in the description. Last week, 30 people met each other in there. 2 women from 3 different states exchanged phone numbers, and now they call each other every evening. This channel isn't my channel anymore, sweethearts. It's yours, and you are each other's table companions. Today's video ends here, sweethearts. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe and send this video to someone who lives alone. Maybe they haven't sat down at the table in 7 years, just like Dolores. Maybe this video will convince them to pick up a spoon again, fold a napkin, set a plate in front of themselves. Sharing is free, sweethearts, and sometimes the only thing that can change someone's life is a shared video. I'm Margaret. Make one of the 15 meals this week, sweethearts. Better yet, be honest with yourselves and try more than one. Walk into your kitchen, take a small step, fix yourself a plate, even if the meal is simple. Even if the bowl is small, even if the table is set for one, because the most valuable thing at that table isn't the food, sweethearts, it's you. Continuing to feed yourself is an act of resistance. Remember that as often as I remind you. See you next time, sweethearts. I love you. I'll be right here next week with another new recipe.